Yo, what's going on guys? This is Bo that I'll be running for today's video, and in this video I'm mostly going to be fighting mixbacks, and I'm also just going to go over the build. So to start off, I could hear a Titan coming, who is a part of this mixback. Now this mixback consists of 2 Dasps, a Titan and an Anno, which you're going to see coming shortly. Now I get a bone snap on this guy, but I can't stay on him as I just misplayed it and he gets away from me, so that was just my fault. And honestly I probably could have killed him if I played that a little bit better, but I just got on, so yeah, that's my excuse. But anyway, these absolute Neanderthals thought it was a fair fight because somehow a solo Rex, because it's an Apex, is a fair fight compared to a Tyrannotine, Anno and 2 Dasps. So according to these people, that is a fair fight, which is pretty crazy. And these guys, yeah, some of the simplest players I've ever met. But keep in mind, Titan is an Apex as well. Now obviously the Path of Titans developers are making a matchmaking system to prevent stuff like this from happening, but it's going to take a really long time for that to come into effect, probably up to a year, which is a long time. So yeah, now you can tell these guys are absolutely garbage at the game just by the fact that they're struggling to kill a solo Rex with such a man advantage, which is crazy. Not only that, if you look at the build that they're running, they are literally running some combo build to directly counter like a solo Apex. Like, wow, great job, you guys did so well. You ran Shatter with the Shatter Cry, and then you had an Anno with the Bone Snap to absolutely make me just not able to move at all, because the whole time I've just got Shatter on me, like 100% fracture, which is super annoying because there's times where I just hit these guys with a fracture and I'm not able to follow up with a second one to get the bone snap to finish the kill. And even when I do, I'm just way slower because, like, yeah, I fractured them, I bone snapped them, but I'm also 100% fractured or just bone snapped, and there's not much I can do because of the Anno. Obviously I keep tail hitting to get it off of me, but it's just not enough as the Anno is a tank. Now I could have played this a little bit better obviously, but it was literally the first time I got on at the day, and I just wasn't ready for instantly get 4v1'd by some goobers. So yeah, I made a few mistakes and I could have played it better. I was also trying to knock some stuff off the cliff with my tail, but at the same time I didn't just want to stand in place for the Anno to get into its hunker position and then just start tail slamming me, which would have just done a bunch of damage. And you can see it's like been 3 minutes and these guys have just got me to like half HP, which is crazy. Like it took them that long to get damage on me in a 4v1 scenario. So yeah. Now I want to point out that this Titan is also just so dumb. There was multiple times where he would go for a feast, and in return I would bite him on the head like 3 times, which is just not a good trade at all. He's just not going to reheal any health back because he took way more health. He lost way more health than he gained from the exchanges, instead of maybe farming off of the Anno that clearly takes like no damage at all. But yeah, you can see like if these guys never had such a massive advantage, like these guys can't get any kills, like they're so garbage. When this new matchmaking system comes out, these guys are just going to be free trophies. I also think it's really funny how people cry about the fact that they're going to add this matchmaking system, saying it's going to ruin official, it's going to ruin the game. It's so funny because it's like, bro, you guys are blatantly cheating, and now that they've figured out a way to stop you from blatantly cheating, you get mad and you start crying. It's like, bro, you think people that are solos or duos or even playing in slot limit enjoy getting 10v1'd by your stinky Discord group? Like, yeah, it's crazy. anyone that defends this behaviour or says it's not blatant cheating is just delusional. It's clearly just cheating. If it wasn't cheating, there wouldn't be a slot size, don't you think? What, you think it's just there for show? To look cool? Like, make it make sense. There's obviously a slot limit to play inside slot limit. But yeah, now you see me kill that Lambio, and he's a part of the Savannah group, which he comes back, he gets a really lucky spawn, and now that he has an EO and a Rex with him. And also this EO's so garbage, like this guy started sharpening horns right in front of me, which just took so much unnecessary damage because of that, instead of just fighting. Yeah, you can see just garbage players. And it's really hard to 3v1, especially as an Apex against two other Apexes. But I could have played that a little bit better, honestly, if I just used my tail attack a little bit more. But yeah, I did mess up in the start, so it did get me, but it was still a good trade. I mean, it was a 3v1 and I took down the Neo. Now, I got back to Savannah, got a really lucky spawn, and I got here close, and there was two random Rexes fighting the Savannah group. I know it was the same Savannah group as the Lambio was with them. Obviously you don't see it in the footage, but the Lambio was here and helping these guys kill the Rexes. Now, I bone snapped the Suko and we get the kill on this guy. And I want to mention, obviously we're overpacking right now, but I'm not going to team up with these guys, like now I am. But the main goal of being friends with those guys is just to use them as bait. Because I already know what happens, like you kill them on their mid tiers and then they come back as like 5 Apexes and just farm the Apex duel. And that's exactly what they done. They brought an EO, a Meg and another EO, and they mopped up the Rexes. Now, just like I said, I used those guys as bait, waited for the fight to be over, and I actually didn't see the fight. I just seen the corpses, as I didn't think it was going to be that fast. Like, I knew they were going to come and kill these guys, I just didn't expect it to be that fast. And yeah, so now I'm 3v1, 2 EOs and a Meg. And imagine the one EO got low from the Rexes. It's honestly still kind of surprising that 2 Rexes lost to an EO and a Meg. Kind of crazy. I'm not sure what happened there. Obviously I wasn't there. But you can see this one EO is so garbage. Like, he's got block and head slam, which is like, bro, both of those attacks use stamina. Like, you can tell someone's a mega pack player based off of their attacks. Like, dude, if you were solo using something like that and you went against a couple mid tiers, like a couple of Megs, you're so dead, because both of those use stamina to attack. And it's like, once you're out of stamina, you're literally defenseless. And yeah, you can see these guys are literally mixpacking. Like, bro, this Meg has been trying to kill me the whole time, and it's so funny. He's so bad. Obviously, now that they've increased the damage on tail attacks, you can no longer just tail ride people to death and stuff like that. Now, obviously I miss, he gets a free hit on me, but this guy's distance management is so bad, he's all over the place, and I do end up missing another tail hit, but because his distance management is so bad, he's nowhere close to counter me at all. And by the time he gets close enough, my tail attack comes off a cooldown and I just get the kill on this guy. And I just left the server. I was like, I'm done. Got the kills I wanted. Didn't want to stick around because I already know what's going to happen. They're going to bring even more Apexes and I'm just going to get farmed. So I just left. And they were so mad in chat. Pretty funny. But yeah, moving on. I switched server and there was 2 sub-adult EOs here. Now they had some pretty good distance between them. So it just gave me time to attack one of them, take the fight with one, and then hopefully by the time the other one gets here, I'll kill the first one. Now, I should have popped my call a little bit sooner, but I messed up, as I just thought I had more time, but then I seen that the other EO was getting here really fast. I popped the call and I take a couple unnecessary hits, but I just kind of had to, because it's such a big difference, like 30% damage I think, or 25 is a lot, and I'll happily take a few hits. As you can see, they barely did any damage. And one of these guys has head slam and headbutt, the other one's got headbutt and block. So I want to take out the guy that's doing all the damage first, and then I can deal with the tank later. his tank just won't be able to put any damage onto me, which is perfectly fine. So yeah, I took out the eel with the head slam first. Also, you won't see me bite eels on the head when they block, because it gives them a 20% armor increase, and it stacks up to 5 times, so it can get up to 100%, which is pretty crazy, and it's pretty good. Now I do get greedy here and take this fight with the circle, which is, yeah, I just got greedy, that's all. Now obviously for the build, I just use the bite, the clamp. Clamp is decent, but it uses stamina to use, and it's only really good against 2 slots. Anything else just gets away from you, and some 2 slots are so tanky to where they just barely survive. Also, it just uses all of your stamina. Another thing to keep in mind about the clamp is that if someone hits you with knockback while you've clamped someone, it drops them, which is crazy annoying, and I think that should be changed. But yeah. Also use the crushing bite, as it's just a lot faster and a lot less predictable than the big bone snap that you use. It's super loud and super delayed, and people just see it coming from a mile away, so I don't like to use that one. Now for my sense, I use the kill and blow, is it gives you a 20% increased damage while your creature not in your group has a fracture or bone break within 50 meters. And it's just 20% damage is way too much to be missing out on, and the other 2 aren't even that good, like Power Couple, where you group with other T-Rexes or Tyrannosaurs within 200 meters, gain 25% increased status effect recovery rate, and 25% slow food and water drain, which is just like, that's alright. It's just 20% damage is crazy, and if you don't run that, you're going to get destroyed by other Rexes and other Apexes. So yeah, kill and blow is a must have. You've also got Blood Rivalry. Landing any bite attack against an enemy will give you a stack of Blood Rivalry. Reaching 3 stacks will grant you a 45-second buff, increasing fracture damage by 50%. Which once again just isn't that good. Like, fracture damage by 50%. It's like you only really need to hit 1 or 2 before fully bone snapping someone or fracture them. So yeah. Moving on to the head, I use King's Mantle. Taking hits grants a stacking 2% damage boost up to 10% for 10 seconds, which once again you're kind of forced to use this against other Apexes, because if you don't have it, you're going to lose a fight against other Apexes. So. But that doesn't mean that there's not a bunch of good options, because there really is a bunch of really good options on the Rex for fighting smaller stuff, like Ravenous. Eating another player's corpse grants a health recovery boost for 60 seconds, activates once on every 5 minutes. Healing is reduced if bleeding, works through combat timer. This is actually really good, and it actually brings back a big chunk of your health. But my only problem with this is the King's Mantle thing that I was talking about. Just getting beat by your Apexes. Now, Thick Bond. Become immune to bone break and fracture except from falling. This is actually pretty good for countering people that use the kill and blow sense, as you are immune to that. So you would directly counter other Rexes, but that's about it. Now your last option is Tyrant's Presence. All small enemies within 30 meters radius lose 25% armor. Once again, this is really good, but just like I said, it only works against small dinos, and if you're fighting Apexes, it doesn't do anything for you, and you're just gonna lose. That's kind of the thing about Apexes, they don't have any like sick maneuvers or stuff like that. So yeah, also before I go any more further into it, I want to say those randoms are killers that came in and helped me were just randoms. And yeah, I don't know, they just wanted to kill the people that were fighting me, and I just left. Now you can see I'm killing babies here. I need to. Anyone that cries about killing babies, this is a survival game. I'm an apex predator, carnivore, T-Rex. It's like, bro, I need food. I'm not going to sit here and starve, especially with the slow play style the Rex has. You don't know when you're going to get your next kill. But yeah, moving on to my leg stop, I use a surprise attack. After crouching for 10 seconds, sprint forward to gain a 20% speed boost and an 100% acceleration boost for 10 seconds. During this time you're also immune to knockback, keep that in mind. And Another thing, really important, nobody ever reads this, only usable out of combat and will disable upon entering combat. Okay, so I'm going to explain this the best I can. So the surprise attack is really good for sneaking up on people and getting that hit that you need to activate that. It's really good for getting your clamps off and your crushing bites, because people don't see you, and when they do, you're really fast and you can know uphill and downhill movement. Plus you're immune to knockback, so stuff like Amaga or bars with the knockback tail can't get away from you after you've ball snapped them. So for 10 seconds you're just immune to knockback, which is amazing. Another thing is, so surprise attack actually lasts through combat for that 10 seconds as long as it's been popped. But say it's a 10-second timer to get there, but once it's got there and you've popped it, then it works. But if it's going up and then you get hit and you get put in combat, it will stop going and it won't activate, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a little bit confusing. But the other option is Shatter Stride. It reduces stamina sprinting cost by 20%, boosts acceleration by 100%, and up / downhill movement speed if within 50 meters of a fractured target. This is pretty good, but you aren't immune to knockback, which I feel like knockback is pretty good on a lot of dinosaurs. It kind of keeps them alive for a really long time. And with the Rexus being slow, you kind of want to be immune to knockback, even if it's for that 10 seconds. But yeah, moving on to the tail, you've just got your basic tail attack, which is your only option. And going on to the versatile, so this is actually very good. The Terrible Raw, they call it boosts damage by 25% and reduces cooldown by 25% for all Tyrannosaurs in group, does not stack. So this one's just really good because unlike the Rampage, you don't have to wait to get low. Also, if you were to face fight a guy with Rampage and with Terrible Raw, you guys both popped it at the same time. I'm pretty sure Terrible Raw wins, or it's just a draw. But I've tested it, and every time I've used Terrible Raw, I've beat my friend, and vice versa. But Rampage has got a short cooldown. It is pretty good, but honestly, Terrible Raw is better for a group setting, and I just prefer it because I don't have to get low like you do on Rampage for it to actually be useful. Because you do have to get below that 50% HP for Rampage to actually start coming into effect. Obviously your last call is a Shattering Cry, reduces fracture healing for all creatures not in the group within 50 meters by 35% for 120 seconds, so 2 minutes. It's pretty good too. And obviously the subspecies I use is the plus 3 attack damage, just because once again you're an Apex, you need all the damage you can get. Your other option is like fracture damage and knockback resistance, which are just alright, but yeah.